I told you guys a little bit earlier that I'm doing this video, and it's one of those things that people like have often asked, Becky and I'm like, how are you guys so motivated? And I take that as a compliment, but I got to tell you, it's not always that easy. Have you guys ever done, like, maybe you have, and one of the things I would like, if you guys jump on here, I saw, somebody I follow on Facebook was talking about how they ask all their, people, just put where you're at, your location. So if you're on here, you jump on, just say so-and-so from, from Oregon, Illinois, Rochelle, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, California, wherever you're from, because I would like to see where all you guys come from. That would be neat. So basically, today I'm talking about motivation, how to get inspired, how to stay inspired, and how to get back on the wagon once you've fallen off the wagon. We've all done these goals and stuff, and basically, we've like started New Year's resolutions, for example, and we've done these things where we all of a sudden, we're all pumped up about this goal, and we're excited and we're stoked, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, we're not there. Thanks, Kathy, that's awesome. So all of a sudden, we're like, we just are, our people ask, they're like, what happened to your goal? They're like, you get to this goal where you're like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in the next 2 weeks. And they're like, okay, all your friends are like, awesome, go, go you. And then all of a sudden, the next week, they're like, they see you stuffing pizza down your throat, and they're like, what happened to your goal? And you're like, that was a dumb goal, It's not really, it's not, it's very common, I should say. So a lot of times, our motivation is something that we don't understand we can create. And it's not something that we can basically, love you, Deb Wooten, you're awesome. So it's not something that, that you realize, or many people realize, that you can restore your motivation, renew it, and you can inspire yourself. And so if you can do that and you don't need anybody else to push you, that is the ultimate, all right? And I'm going to tell you guys how people do this, because it's so valuable that you're able to set your own goals, reach your own goals, motivate yourself to push all the way through those goals, and continue on and continue on. I've been told that I'm a self-starter, and like and one of those people that I'm self-motivated, right? And I'm going to tell you guys how I do that, because I think that that's where people miss it. It's funny because we have all this knowledge about nutrition, and I have all this knowledge about teaching people how to lose weight and how to get results and how to be healthy, and I can teach you how to have what to eat to have energy. I can teach you how to structure your day so that you're not tired all day. Like, I can teach you how to lose weight. All these things, that's like head knowledge, right? But I think what people need most is they need to know motivation. Like, they need to, like, of course, even if you knew how to eat right, you got to have the why. Like, you've got to want to. You've got to know why you should be eating, cucumber slices instead of cheesecake. You know what I mean? Like, if you put those two together, I got to say, it's a tough call, but it's much different when your perspective changes because you're focused on a goal, right? You've got your cheesecake and your cucumber slices, and if you got no goal, like, those cucumber slices are going out the window and you're going to be eating the cheesecake, right? But if you do have a goal, that's the difference. That's what happens. All of a sudden you're like, okay, I know this is going to be a lot better, however, this doesn't fit my goal. And that's the difference. So Lindsay Manning, Gabe Troha, you guys are amazing. Thanks for jumping on. So one of the things that I do, okay, so I don't set small goals. And now I don't often reach my goals the first time around. So I'll say that right off the bat. But I also don't set small goals, because I think small goals don't help you, they don't give you enough like drive to really push and do what's needed, okay? Like, if my goal is to just get out of bed today, I might not even do that. I know, Lindsay, cheesecake. Hopefully I didn't lose you at the cheesecake thing. One of the things that, so if your goal is little, if it's to lose, 5 pounds in the next year, you probably won't change a thing about what you need to do to actually lose that weight, right? But if your goal is 5 pounds this week, you're going to be watching what you eat today, tomorrow, the next day, and it's actually going to cause a change in behavior, which is what is going to actually make you lose the weight, reach your goal, okay? So getting inspired, staying inspired. First off, to get inspired, you've got to spend a little time thinking about your goal, and it's a little bit of work on the front end, okay? But once you get that down, once you do it, you will be so fueled to hit your goal that nothing will stop you, okay? And so getting inspired is the trick. And basically how you do that is by reminding yourself of what it's going to be like when you reach the goal. Okay? So instead of just saying like I want to be a millionaire, okay? Everybody wants to be a millionaire. But what's going to change, what changes or what makes your odds different is if you spend some time thinking about, okay, and you visualize, right? You visualize, you think about it, close your eyes, think about what it's going to be like, and you visualize what your life is going to be like as a millionaire. How would that feel? How would it make you feel? Like, what kind of clothes would you wear? What kind of stuff would you have for dinner? What kind of car would you drive? What kind of experiences would you have? Where would you live? What would your house look like? You gotta like live it in your mind first, because if you do that, you'll have such a strong vision that the things that you'll do whatever to create that vision. That's the difference. But if you don't, and you're just like, oh, I'd love to be a millionaire, it's gonna stay a wish, and it's not actually gonna happen for you. So you've got to really decide that this is the thing. Like, I'm gonna basically think about what this is going to be like, who I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna do, kind of things I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna have, what it's gonna really do for my life to reach this goal. That's the difference. And so that's how you get inspired in the first place, okay? Now, staying inspired is just constantly reminding yourself every time you have a setback, every time you have something where you're like, stuff gets a little bit hard, you got to remind yourself of what you're working towards. You instead of just being like, maybe. First off, you can never, ever, ever say that this isn't going to work. You can never say, maybe I don't really want this. You can never say any of that stuff. Once you're in, you're in. And you got to set a goal and say, I'm doing this until it's done, okay? And you got to have a commitment to just do it, no matter what. But the way to stay inspired, the way to stay excited about it is to basically keep reminding yourself about what it's going to be like once you reach that goal. What it's going to be like, what your life's going to be like, and you gotta live that vision. You gotta have such a strong vision that nobody can stop you from it, because you're like, when they say it, you gotta just be like, you don't understand it. It's up here. I see it. Like, you gotta be able to see it, even if it's not real yet. Working to create a vision is much easier than working to hit a goal and having no evidence of it, right? So now. And that's how you get inspired, and that's how you stay inspired. You've got to have a vision. There's an old proverb in the Bible that says, "Without a vision, people perish." And then there's and it says, "Without a vision, people cast off restraint," meaning they just lose their guidance, right? And they go all directions, and cockroaches when they turn the light on. And that's what happens. Like when you don't have a vision you're working towards, it's kind of like your roadmap to getting somewhere. And so you've got to create that for yourself. And for me, I do that all the time. I always think about what kind of things, what it's going to really be like. And I try and promote it to myself. Like, think about, what my life is going to be like, what I'm going to be able to do for people, what kind of, experiences my kids are going to have, and all that kind of thing. And that's how I create a vision for myself. And once it's there, once it's up there, then it's just like, okay, what pieces need to fall into place for me to actually create this thing, So that's the getting inspired, staying inspired. The last thing is, how do you get started back again once you've fallen off, okay? And the answer is that you just get started, all right? It doesn't matter where you're at, what handicaps you have. I was listening to some Jim Rohn today, and he said that if you're broke, you get started broke. If you're poor, you get started poor. If you're handicapped, you get started with handicaps. If you're in debt, you get started in debt. If you're overweight, you get started overweight. However it happens for you, but you get started. He was also talking about how a builder needs an architect. The architect, which would be the visionary, the person that's got the plan. You've got to be both in your own life, but you've got to be willing to lay the bricks and design the plan, both and. And so if you can do that for yourself, you'll be way ahead of the game. You'll hit your goals, you'll be inspired, and people will be like, how are you so motivated all the time. And it's like, you don't understand. It's not me. I'm not just a motivated person. I've got a vision. I've got a plan. I'm trying to build this thing. It's in my head. I want to make it real. And so that's what I do, and that's how I handle this stuff. And I think that if you were to go along and basically spend a little time today thinking about what you really want and what it's really going to be like, once you have a clear vision of what you want, then it's pretty easy to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things, and pretty easy to say which fits your goals, and make decisions based on that. I think that that's what people don't do enough of. They just think, well, I'd like to lose weight. I'd like to make more money. I'd like to get a job promotion. I'd like to, buy a new car. But all those things seem a little bit far away until you live in the moment where you have it already. And then once you do that, it's like, okay, now I've got to get it, because it's like you got a taste of it. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's what you can do for your weight loss goals. If it's a promotion, if it's a lifestyle goal, maybe it's something like, maybe it's stuff with your kids. Maybe you had a plan to do things with your kids more often this summer and you didn't hit it. Like, all it takes is just being like, man, what's my relationship with my kids like now? And what's it gonna be like if I was to invest this much time into them? It's that kind of thing, those kind of decisions. And so getting inspired, staying inspired, your motivation comes from your action. I'm never more motivated than when I'm exercising, all right? But before the exercise, I'm not that pumped. Like, I'm not very excited about what I'm about to go do, I gotta tell you. Even if it's a bike ride, and I like bike riding, but my body is like not too pumped about getting out there, getting sweaty, getting hurt, like tearing muscles, all that. But if I just go do it, the motivation comes. So you've got to take the action first. Pastor Darren Heilman, one of my mentors, some of you guys met him when he was here in Rochelle. What he taught me is that you can act your way into right feelings, but you can't feel your way into right actions. So if you just operate based off your feelings, you'll go like this. You'll go up and down and all around, and it'll be crazy. But if you operate on a choice of your will, you'll realize that the feelings come right afterwards. After you make the right choice and you go out and do what it is that fits your goal, the feelings will come, and you'll be excited about it. You'll be like, this is happening. I'm doing this thing. And but if you just go off your feelings, if I went off my feelings, I wouldn't be doing this video right now, because I might not have felt like it, and so, but I locked myself into a corner by telling you guys I was going to do it. So regardless of how I felt this afternoon, I knew that I was going to be doing this because it was a choice of my will, not based on my feelings. Now, I was pretty excited to get on here and talk, so that's kind of a, an okay example, but you get my point. You've got to basically create a vision for yourself, and then do the things that lead up to that vision to create it. The other thing is we set deadlines on ourselves, and I think that you can't get discouraged once you miss a deadline. I would say I miss about 95% of my deadlines. When I set a goal for myself, I miss almost all of them. However, by setting the goal and going for it, like I said, I set big goals. By doing that, I end up having almost reaching them, and then it's very simple to just close the gap, And but if I didn't reach that goal in the beginning, I might not even got halfway to where I was. So it's all about pushing yourself to get better, to go farther, to do more, and to reach farther and higher and all that. So in closing this video out, I would say that that's about the thing. Most people, it's the motivation, it's the why. And so if the why is powerful, then the how is easy. And so if you can get your why to be solid, to be just like no matter what, this is what you're going to do, and you are sold out on this thing, then the how, all the work that it takes to create that, is going to be super, super easy. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Of course, if you need any motivation, you know where to find it. I'm going to be here doing this for you every single day. So if you like my videos, go ahead and share them with your friends. If you got somebody that's struggling with motivation, you think this would help, share it. Share it to their timeline, tag them in a comment, do whatever, and hopefully I can serve them just like I'm serving you. So you guys are amazing. If you're coming to the Fit Challenge tonight, it's going to be unreal. We have a killer workout plan for you. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. Otherwise, enjoy your evening. See you later.